welcome to the Spiritist Society of Melbourne. My name is Thiago Comitri, and I'm a volunteer with this group. Tonight, I'm going to share my understanding to the topic Theirs under the lens of Spiritism. I'm a student of this philosophy, and what I'll be exposing here is my understanding to the topic, and might be different from other members of this group, as well as other students of this philosophy. Ahmed says in his book that I will show you. Next slide. Theirs are materialized emotions that get to break the physical barriers. Actually, they represent energy surpluses we need to put out. My presentation tonight will be based on this book, as the title says. Changing our attitudes, it proposes us to perceive life in a different perspective. Changing Attitudes is a book that was written by Francisco de Espírito Santo Neto, but dictated by the Spirit Hamed. And based on the Spirit's book as well, which contains the principles of this philosophy, Spiritism, according to the teachings of spirits of high degree, transmitted through various mediums across the world, then received, codified by Allan Kardec. Also, the Gospel according to Spiritism, which contains the explanation of the moral maxims of Christ in concordance with Spiritism and their applications to the different circumstances of life. Spiritism, this spiritualist philosophy, says that we are individuals with the main objective of progressing towards perfection, at the same time being co-creators. I like to contextualize the main principles of this philosophy. Then we can have these concepts in mind to understand better what I'll be exposing here, and then we can discuss further after. Let's explore a little bit this statement here. When it says individuality, it's talking about ourselves being an intelligent being, a spirit, as they define, as this philosophy defines, and which is nothing else than our soul. So this individual is unique in the whole universe. We was created simple in ignorance, and because of that, we have the same start point. So we was in the same condition that everyone, and then we have the opportunity to grow to reach perfection one day. So that's the main objective. Why to reach perfection? Because who created us, what we understand as a supreme intelligence, and others calls that as God, and we as well. But it has a plan for us that we cannot comprehend yet, because we are not perfect yet, on earth at least. We are not perfect. And how to achieve this perfection? That will not be through a single existence. For example, since when we was born, we will not be able to reach perfection until we die. And because of that reason, this philosophy explains very well the concept of reincarnation. That wasn't created by this philosophy. It's quite old, but it's very well explained and makes sense when we think about this way of progression. So if it was created simply in ignorance, and we are individuals, intelligent beings, unique in the whole universe, moving forward towards perfection, how to achieve that? So it must have many existences. So that's why reincarnation makes sense and gives us a big picture of ourselves and the whole thing. So how we can collaborate then with the creation? Everything we do, and just because we exist, we are already collaborating with the creation. Everything that exists, the plants, the animals, and everything that you know, human couldn't create that, right? Something else should be create that. So just having the understanding that we are part of this nature and everything, we are collaborating. Of course, working ourselves and helping others to evolve as well, because everyone is in the same condition. Everyone is doing their best to evolve, and then we can collaborate and be co-creators in this way. So with these concepts in mind, we can continue with the presentation. And going back to that initial quote that I just show here again. Tears are materialized emotions that get to break the physical barriers. Actually, they represent energy surpluses we need to put out. Materialized emotions. So, as I said before, we are spirits, right? Which means we are intelligent beings that populate the universe and incarnate in the physical, the corporeal world to progress. This philosophy explains us that the communication of these intelligent beings, of these spirits, is through thought. So everything we do is through thought. And wherever our thought is, we are. So it's our consciousness. So with that concept, with this idea in mind, we can just explore a little bit these materialized emotions, that the tears are materialized emotions that break the physical barriers. So everything starts in our thought. And to materialize that, we are in this matter, we are inhabiting this body, so we are driving this body, but our soul, our spirit is not material. And this body is material. So as we are spirits and everything starts from our thoughts, once we think of something and we believe in that thing and we understand that it's a true thing, that can be materialized. For example, when we are sick, or even when we think we can be sick, and we just start just thinking on that and putting our minds and our thoughts only on that situation of becoming sick for any reason. For example, many people now in this COVID-19 pandemic, they, like my father-in-law was, because he came to Australia in early 2020, and he was thinking, he came back to Brazil. He came here to on holidays, and when he went back to Brazil, he was in his mind that he got that illness, the COVID, and he was talking to him. No, you didn't, because that was the start, and it wasn't here. No case here in Australia yet, but in his mind, he was building that. He was believing himself that, no, I got that. I bring that to Brazil. Like, no, you didn't. But it's some thoughts. That's a fight that we have to work every day with our thoughts, because our spirit is in activity all the time. So everything we do is through our thoughts. So our mind that never stops. With that in mind, that can become true. And in fact, he got COVID-19. But that was, he just recovered of that, was good. But just to keep in mind that everything we desire and we think and we put our energy on that, that could become reality, could materialize, as we are saying here. So our tears are materialized emotions that come out from our feelings, our emotions, something that is happening with us. And we can't hold that and come as tears. So when you think that when we understand that everything starts with our thoughts, we should watch our thoughts. We should think of what's happening in our mind. Where are we directing our energies? So Hamed continues saying that the source of tears are not always the same. For many are the fountains that put them out through the eyes. And it gives us some examples that I will show through pictures. Tears born of maternal love are seen almost every day in the eyes of mothers in love with their children. Tears of joy are brought out in the eyes of people who are in love for the emotions they share while making plans to be happy together. Tears of pain from the ones who see a family member live in the arms of physical death and hope to see him or her again in eternal life. Tears of friends who shake hands upon achievements and prosperous reunions are always pure sources of healthy emotions from the heart. There are other tears that comes from unbalanced centers, bitter drops that make one's eyes red, giving them get an aggressive look, scarlet colored, spreading harmful energies that make life tougher. Tears of envy and anger that grow in proud and resentful eyes that watch people who overcome obstacles achieve goals in life. Tears of grief and discomfort that wet the eyes of the rebels, the ones who suffer for not respecting themselves and others, and as consequence, face all kinds of misfortune along the desperate path they follow. Tears of fear and dissoluteness, which are, in a deeper analysis, toxic distilled by the corrupt who harm elder children and whole families in desperate seek for gold and power. Hidden tears that come down from the eyes of the hypocrite and the seductive who believe to be free from life's natural laws, never expecting to be punished for harming other people. So those was a few examples that Hamed brings in his book, but we can extend this, and we know about many reasons why our tears come down, right? And that's an exercise for us, and I will tell about this at the end. So if you, as I said before, all our emotions and our feelings come. Um, our tears come from all our emotions and our feelings that we can't hold, and then there are many reasons for that. Anger and sometimes happiness as well. We can just cry because we are so happy because we achieved something that we was expecting so much in our lives. And It's told also that tears came down from the eyes of the thieves crucified side by side with Jesus in the Golgotha. I don't want to take the religious road here, but we are given a good teaching by analyzing this. Hamed considers a bad thief's tears impregnated the ground of the feelings, the roots of reflection and understanding, which led him to understand the reasons of inflexible hearts. Humanity learned there is a time to plant and a time to harvest, and that not everyone is able to understand spiritual essence. Thus, unconditional forgiveness can grow from this perception. So, forgiveness. Let's get a classic example. A child and the parent, maybe a father, not talking for long. I know people that, like, for any reason, they just stop to talk to their parent. For in specific, an acquaintance of mine that stopped talking to her father because her father just got divorced of her mother and then got another family, and because of that, the kid just got revolted and stopped talking to the parent. But what is the feeling? Because she is now near 40 years old, and she said that for a while she doesn't talk to her dad. And I can just imagine, in my point of view, I have that as a waste of time. Because if you are a spirit with the main objective to progress, and we do that in this life with interaction with people and having our family, our parents, and our siblings and our extended family as a great opportunity to work all the improvement points we have still in our spirit to grow and for the next life to be better. It's in my point of view, it's not good for us to have this kind of relationship, this tough relationship with a parent or with someone so close to us. But I understand as well that it's hard for people. And as the text say here, humans learn there is a time to plant and a time to harvest, and that not everyone is able to understand in spiritual sense. What I mean with this is that for me, that's like a waste of time. But if I'm in the shoes of this friend, I don't know how I would act. I don't know, because that's experience. Maybe I could handle differently, and I don't know, because we are in different stages of evolution, right? But imagine the stone, the rock she carries in her heart for the whole life. And there are people, that's just an example. There are people holding that for a long time. And they don't regret of the action they got, right? So when we got this behavior, we can see that in two ways. We can see and use the empathy to understand the way of that person, or we can see that person as a selfish, just thinking of herself, not giving opportunity for that person to explain their side as well. And that's the lack of empathy of that person, actually. And don't thinking and don't accepting, then giving the opportunity to listen, right? The other, because sometimes just a talk, a quick talk, it's enough to solve this kind of issue, and to make both free to continue progressing and to see the future, to see life there in the future. You know what I mean? Also, we can understand here about this difference of degree of evolution of people. We can see ourselves and our parents and maybe our kids. The generations change, and if you see everything that our parents has done to us, like my mom was 34 years when I was born, so 30 years of difference. And I was 33 when my daughter just was born, so 30 years of difference. I do probably and think totally different from my mother, not even because we are different beings, of course, but because I was born in a time that the technology was coming up very fast. And now my daughter will start using mobiles and laptops, tablets, and very, very easy. And she's 2.5 years, so it's quite different. So they will think differently because of everything that is available for them. I mentioned that because we just need to keep in mind that people are different and they will do their best. They are doing their best. And that's how they understand. And each of us are doing our best, for sure. So when we use the empathy to understand the other and put ourselves in their shoes and try to see the situation from a different perspective, it will help us to exercise this forgiveness. I mean exercise, because this is a lifestyle. It's something that you practice every day. You are all the time thinking something that hurted you, and okay, I understand, I accept, and I forgive. You know, it's an exercise. It's not, oh, I'm forgiving everyone now. No, that's an exercise. But from the good sides come down the tears of the ones who have already admitted their mistakes, abundantly reviving and making germinate the powerful seeds that allow guilty consciences to always use unconditional love for both themselves and others as a way to change their lives for the better. So, do you already admit your mistakes? Do you already understand that you are not perfect? And have you accepted who you are as you are? When we change our attitudes and act with love in everything we do for ourselves and mostly for the others, we definitely start changing our lives for the better. Because love is the key. Even we're not understanding exactly what is love. Because just to give an example of that mother that spent her time and her whole life loving and doing everything for the children, but with the thought of that her children will take care of her on her advanced age. So that's not unconditional love as it says here. That's an exchange. So let's think again, what is love actually? And do we really understand that? I can say for myself, I don't understand love fully. So I do my best to love my parents, to love my family, my friends, and to do everything with love. But I do believe that I'm doing everything with love. But maybe not. For others, they could see and think that I'm not doing as they expect that to be doing. But just keep in mind, everyone is different, and we are all doing our best. So how to exercise then? self-awareness. Through a continuous exercise of getting to know about ourselves, we can identify the points that we need to work on to gradually improve. In this inner dive, we should regard our tears, analyze them, and make sure about the feelings that generated them. We need to get in contact with all the emotions that we are having. Like kids. Kids are starting their life, and we give them, we should give them direction. Like, as I just mentioned, my kid is 2 years old, and all the time when she's angry or she's very happy or frustrated because I'm not letting her do what she wants, and just explain, oh, you are frustrated, because she doesn't know that feeling, that emotion she's at that moment. So we now, as adults, we are still not knowing fully what we are feeling. So that's an exercise for us to get in contact, to understand, to feel, to cry, to let that energy to come out. And that will help us to comprehend, to understand ourselves and what we are feeling and why we are feeling that. What is make us to feel that? Which is it good? Is it bad? So then we start to understand more about ourselves. That's the main objective, isn't it? And Hamed finishes saying that, may your emotions become healthy, generating fountains, and that this crystal-like liquid that rolls over your faces bring you peace of mind and set the basis of a more fulfilling life. That's what I had for tonight's talk. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.